Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with atbbq.com, and this is Brisket Cheesesteak. That's right, today we're cooking up some cheesesteak sandwiches, but instead of your traditional thin sliced ribeye steak, we're gonna be using brisket that's been smoked overnight, chilled down, sliced thin, and then cooked again on the griddle. So it's gonna add a ton of great smoky flavor to an already fantastic sandwich. Let's jump right into prepping our brisket. So we're starting off here with a nice big prime whole brisket from Creekstone Farms. Beautiful piece of meat. This is gonna make a ton of cheesesteaks, but the thing that's great about this is we're gonna season this so neutrally that you can use this for all kinds of things. So what I'll do after we're done with our cheesesteaks today is I'll go ahead and vacuum up the rest of this. Pardon my saw marks there, that's kind of ugly cut. I'll bag all this up and throw it in the freezer, and you can pull it out in individual packs, use it for more cheesesteaks, you can use it for tacos, you can use it for fajitas, or even like casseroles and pasta dishes. Now I'm gonna trim this thing up fairly quickly here. All I'm trying to do is get the fat off of the point meat, leave a little bit of fat cap down here, and get rid of the hard fat. I'm gonna do this quick today, but if you guys wanna get real in depth, we just released a video on how to trim a brisket. You can go check that out. We'll be sure to put a link in the video description. All right, we got this thing cleaned up pretty nicely now. Got rid of all that hard fat on the surface. Got a nice fat cap on the top side. Now, flipping this to the bottom, we're gonna start with our seasoning process. And this is all gonna start off with a little W sauce. This is the Baron Burton's Worcestershire. This is gonna be our binder. And then we're gonna layer on 2 seasonings today. The first one is the BBQ's steak maker. And this also has a great Worcestershire flavor to it. So savory base is where we're starting. We're gonna stay savory all the way around. And this one goes on first because it's a nice fine rub, so it kind of just attaches right to that meat. Get these edges. Give it a quick pat down. Starts to look wet, it's attaching to the meat, and then we can hit it with our second rub, which is the Cattleman's Grill Lone Star Brisket Rub. So this is coarse salt, pepper, roasted garlic, and celery seed. So again, savory base, but fairly neutral in flavor, which is gonna make this a great option for meal prepping. In fact, I would totally recommend doing this recipe on a weekend, so you've got time to knock out a couple of meals out of it. We're gonna smoke this overnight, which we'll talk about a little bit more in depth here as we get closer to the smoker. But that gives you time to rest it over the weekend, chill it down, slice it up, dice it up, whatever you wanna do with it. Flip it over and hit the other side. Again, a little Worcestershire binder. Start with your finer rub. Nice savory steak rub. Give it that pat down to help everything attach. And then our Lone Star brisket rub. Now this coarse rub that's on the top side here is going to help create a really great bark as this smokes low and slow overnight. Now, while we are cooking a whole brisket today with the idea of having some brisket for future meals, you could definitely do a smaller piece of meat. If you wanted to do just a flat or just a point, you could do that. Just keep in mind that the flat has very little fat running through it. So that's not quite ideal. You know, ribeye is traditional with cheesesteaks. They're high in fat, so if you're gonna use one cut or the other, I'd see if you could get a hold of a point, because that's gonna actually have better fat content and flavor in the end, in my opinion. But this brisket's not gonna be cooked entirely like you would normally smoke a brisket. We're gonna stop a little short of where we normally would. And that's because I don't want this thing falling apart on the griddle later. So instead of smoking it to like 205 and that range where it's just gonna be like super tender, we're actually gonna smoke it to like 165. So it's gonna actually still be tough, but that's gonna allow us, 1, to slice it much easier, and 2, to hold up on the griddle later on. Today we're cooking on the Yoder Smoker's YS640S pellet grill. We're burning hickory pellets, and let me tell you how I like to do this. Last night at 9:30 I put on a whole brisket, set the temperature to 190 on the grill, and went to bed. You wake up, you do your stuff in the morning, about 10 hours later you're sitting right around 150, 155 internal with a target temp of 165, so I'll just bump that grill up to 225 to finish it out. And you can see right here what went on about 12 hours ago. So you can see we've developed a really nice bark on this brisket overnight. If you are to probe it, it feels tough. You wouldn't want to eat this just as your typical smoked barbecue, but that's fine because what we want to do is we want it to be tough so it'll hold together when we slice it and it'll hold together when we finish it on the griddle. But for now, this is ready to come off and go into the fridge to chill. This is what it looked like going on last night. I usually just pop it right up top with that point right by the stack. You get a little bit of extra smoke and heat as this exits through the stack and get nice color on top of that point. I'll throw a probe in it just to keep an eye on it. But today, I'm gonna finish this on a different smoker so we can set this one up for our cheesesteaks. So let me pop this off. So we're gonna get everything out of this set up a little more direct with a griddle over the firebox. Got the baffle pushed all the way in, so I've kind of concentrated all that heat right here on the left side. Throw a couple grates on the other side. Let this preheat at 450 degrees. Now we've got just a little bit of knife work to do for our onions that we're going to caramelize on that griddle here in just a minute. I want to get these sliced down. We're slicing pole to pole today, so from this tip to this tip, just following those ridges, about a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit thinner. Break these up just a little bit, and then we're going to take them over to the grill. I'm going to start by throwing down a couple tablespoons of beef tallow for us to cook these onions in. Once that's fully melted, dump our onions. Hit them with a little bit of seasoning. We're using that Cattleman's Lone Star brisket rub. Pretty basic flavors. You get that little bit of salt to start pulling some of the moisture out. And we're just gonna let these sit and cook. I'll come and chop them around, move them a little bit here and there, but they're probably gonna need a good 20 minutes to caramelize down. While the onions are cooking, we're gonna make our cheese sauce. And we are basically gonna try and replicate Cheese Whiz from scratch. And the way that we're gonna be able to do that is using this sodium citrate. So I've got like 190 some grams of water to 9 grams of sodium citrate. And this is just a derivative, a salt derivative of citric acid. So it's a little bit sour and it's a lot salty. But what it does is it stabilizes the cheese so that it doesn't separate out. It essentially allows you to take any gourmet or non-gourmet cheese that you like and turn it into a trashy cheese sauce. So I just want to kind of bring this to a simmer to make sure that's all dissolved. It is dissolved, and then we're gonna start whisking in our cheeses. And it's crazy that this works so well just with water. You don't even need any cream, and you're gonna get a really nice creamy cheese sauce. We're using 4 ounces each of a sharp cheddar and a smoked provolone. I'm just gonna sprinkle that in little by little, whisk it until it starts to dissolve, and you'll see this turn from water and cheese into an emulsified cheese sauce. And that's what that sodium citrate's gonna do for you. Hold that emulsion. Cheese itself is kind of an emulsion, and often when you heat it, that fat separates out and you get the curd, the solid, and then you get the fat. But we're gonna stabilize this so that it just stays a creamy cheese sauce. All right, all the cheddar's in there. Now we're coming in with our smoked provolone. A little bit more stringy. So I've worked the math out on this, and you guys can find this in our recipe, which is always linked in the video description. But we're using 8 ounces of cheese, and that I think it's 193 grams of water is about 85% water to the 100% of the cheese, which makes for a pretty thin sauce, but that's what I want. I want a thin and runny cheese sauce. And now that we've got this all melted, I can add in some of our flavoring agents. So going back to the W sauce, a little Worcestershire, about 1 teaspoon. And then we're gonna throw in some Cattleman's Pitfire hot sauce, about a tablespoon. And then finally, to give this that really fake Cheese Whiz look, turn it all orange, I'm gonna throw in a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. See that color turning now? Deepening that orange color. I'm gonna shut this heat off. I think we've got it right where we need it. So this now has that consistency that will coat the back of a spoon, but it's still kind of runny. As soon as it cools down, it wants to set up. Flavor-wise, that's like cheese sauce out of a can, but with all the flavor of these great sharp cheddar and smoked provolone. That's gonna be perfect for our cheesesteak. Now, if you're looking at this sodium citrate, like where the heck am I gonna get that stuff? It's actually pretty easy to find online. You'll get it really quickly. And honestly, this was only $8 for this whole bag. I broke it down, did the math. The food cost just on the sodium citrate in that ½ pound of cheese sauce is only 23 cents. So it's actually really affordable too. So here we have our fully cooked, now all the way chilled down brisket. I'm gonna cut this in half and then we'll start shaving pieces off. You got your flat on the bottom. This is not gonna look like a typical brisket necessarily because that fat hasn't had a chance to render out yet. That's also the reason why it's gonna hold together on the griddle though. So on top here we have that point meat, which is a little bit fattier. Now if you've got a deli slicer, now's a great time to break it out, but I know most of us are gonna be doing this by hand, so I'll just show you that I'm just taking a brisket slicer and shaving it nice and thin. All right, got a good pile of that fatty meat. Let's go ahead and slice some of the lean. You'll also want to try and cut across the grain here, just like you normally would. And as we know, these two muscles, they go in different directions. So when you're looking at your flat, you're going to see which way those muscle fibers run and then cut across them. When you get over to the point, it goes in the other direction. They're going this way, so you're going to cut across them this way. All right, got a pretty good pile going here. I'm going to add all that delicious gelatinous beef juice that's gathered in the bottom of the pan here. I want these broken down just a little bit more for cooking on the griddle, so I'm just going to give them a rough chop here. Some slightly smaller, more manageable pieces here. Look at that. Not only is this going to be great for cheesesteaks, but think about throwing that into a stir fry or into a scramble with your eggs in the morning. Heck, if you got this stuff sliced nice and thin, this is a great cold cut for a sandwich. That right there is going to be some of the best roast beef you ever had. And even though you'd consider that drastically undercooked for a slice of brisket, when you slice it thin, it pulls apart, bite through tender. Fantastic smokiness. Man, I want a roast beef sandwich now. Look at that pile of onions that's cooked down to just this little bit now. Got some great caramelization going on there. Not your traditional slow caramelization, but more of a griddled onion that brings the caramelization out a little bit quicker. And some of those burnt bits that I'm gonna really enjoy the flavor of as well. Just a little tallow on the surface just to get things started, but as we cook this brisket, the tallow is gonna start to render out of this as well. So we're looking to get nice and crispy around the edges, start to render out some of that fat. We want this somewhere in between crispy and kind of chewy tender. So give it enough surface area to get some color on there. And we'll do a little flipping and turning here as we go. You can just leave the lid open for now. Give it about 4 or 5 minutes already. Starting to get some great crisp on that bottom side. Just break this up a little bit as it's cooking. You can see we're getting that tallow rendering out, which is great. We're gonna toast our buns in that here in just a minute. All right, let's maintain our heat level on this griddle a little better by closing up the lid now. Another 5 minutes or so, check this out. Look at all that beautiful crisp on the bottom. We've still got tender bits at the same time. This is pretty much exactly where we want this to be. Still holding together, but tender enough that I can chop it if I want to. We're in that money spot. Tell you what I'm gonna do is we're gonna throw our onions back in here. Just gonna mix them up to warm them up. And then let's just scoot these off to the back so we can toast our buns and some of this beef tallow that's been rendered out. All right, gonna get our buns down in the fat. Just let that toast up for a minute. Oh yeah, just a little bit of crisp on there, nice and golden brown. Looking good. A little more here. Perfect. Go ahead and start to load these up. All right, we got our scratch-made cheese whiz. It's been hanging out, staying warm. Just gonna pour some right over the top. Oh, look at that. Woo! So stoked to try this. Man, the texture feels just right. That bread is so soft, but it's got that little bit of crisp. I'm already digging. I can't talk. I'm wearing it, I know. I don't even care. So good. There's something magical about fake cheese. I'm just gonna say it. And it's not fake cheese. We use some nice cheese in our cheese sauce, but that texture, you can't match it. It belongs on a cheesesteak. But the cheese, as great as it is matched by this brisket. It's smoky, for sure. I mean, it smoked for 12 hours. Of course it's smoky. But it's not just crunchy, and it's not just gray and soggy. It's got texture. It's got bite. Finishing that brisket at 165, man, it's just right to give it just a little bit more time to crisp and render in the griddle. And, you know, like we talked about, you get so many other uses for that brisket. Because if you're looking at that thing and you're like, there's no way we can eat that many cheesesteaks. You don't have to. You got cold cuts, you've got tacos, you've got breakfast scrambles, all kinds of options. Because once again, that brisket's seasoned pretty neutrally. It's just a nice savory flavor. Big smoke flavor, nice bark, tender inside, especially once it's heated up on a griddle. Caramelized onion. You can't have a cheesesteak without it. There's a sweetness to it. I could go on about this sandwich all day. It's so simple and so tasty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out atbbq.com for all the products featured in today's video. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to atbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.